Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you? Happy for you to join us. Morning, morning, morning. Y'all come on in. Got a good, got a good one this morning. So I'm glad that you are here. Glad that you are here. Let me see. Good morning to Leah. Good morning, First Lady. Good morning, Sharonda. How are you? Happy for you to be here with us as well. Thank y'all for jumping on in. Give me another couple minutes and I'm gonna get going. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. All right, we got about less than another minute here, and then we're gonna get started. Talking this morning about what are you working with? As I sip my little morning coffee, I hope it's okay. Do you drink coffee? Do y'all drink coffee? I drink coffee, but I don't drink it. I don't drink it for it to wake me up. I just drink it because I like it. I like the taste and the flavor and all that good stuff. And if you do drink coffee, how do you like it? Do you like it just straight black, or do you like it with some cream and sugar in it? How do you like your coffee? Let me know. Let me know. All right, y'all stay with me. Y'all stay with me. Y'all stay with me. Y'all stay with me this morning. All right, we're gonna get off into it. We're gonna get off into our lesson this morning. Once again, good morning. I know I'm looking a little rough right now, but I'm trying to let my I'm trying to let my beard grow in. So y'all don't think it's something wrong with me. I'm good. You like milk in it? Okay. Rumble say he like milk in his coffee. I used to just drink it straight black, and I'm okay with it being straight black. But my daughter introduced me to some. She introduced me to some non-dairy. Um, what do you call it? Creamer. She non-dairy creamer and some organic sweetener or something. So now when I'm at home, I take it like that. But other than that, I just be straight. I drink it straight, plain black, whatever people call it. All right, all right, all right. Glad to have you in the house once again. I know I got started a little late there. I was just bragging to my wife how my computer, I like it because it cut right on. It don't take 2 hours to warm up and all that stuff. And then when I was getting ready to get on it, it decided it wanted to do an update. That was really funny. That was really funny. So we here, we're here. Glad you're here. And good morning, Minister Wilma. I see you. I see you. Glad that you're here. We're here. God is here. We have life this morning. We have our health. We have our strength, vigor, vitality, all of that good stuff. And man, listen, we just have to learn how to always be thankful and grateful in everything that we do. Life is not going to be without trial and error. Life is not going to be without um, um, the battles and all of that kind of stuff. You have to factor that in. That you have to factor that in along the way. It's going to happen. You're going to have trials and tribulations, but on the upside, you're going to when you come through all of that stuff, you're going to have victories. You're going to have evidence that there is a living and a true God. You're going to have um, you're going to have the ability to press forward and gain power and momentum in things that you didn't think you were able and capable of doing. And so that's why we should just always be grateful and always be thankful, man, because God doesn't have to do anything that He does for us. Y'all understand that? He don't have to do anything that He does for us. But I'm glad, like the old people used to say, I'm so glad that He did. I'm so glad that He did. All right. All right. So what I'm going to propose a question to you this morning. What are you working with? Ma'am, sir, what are you working with? What are you talking about, Bass? What are you talking about this morning, sir? What are you working with? Let's define work. Let's define work. It's activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. Activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. Now, we're all achieving something. We're all doing something. But my question is, what is it that God put in your hands and entrusted you with to do work with? What is it that He gave you, that He gave me? He trusted us enough to place it in our hands, put it in our bosom, tuck it down in our spirit, and it gives us the ability to work. What is yours this morning? What is it that do you know? Because I want you to be able to identify it. Because if you can't identify that, it's going to be hard for us to move forward, and that's fine. So that's what we want to do this morning. We want to help you identify what are you working with. You got it? Because if we're not able to identify what we're working with, then we'll just be merely existing. We'll just be existing. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to just be here on the earth existing, going from A to B, B to C, and not having any focus or any purpose of what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to be doing, who I'm supposed to be helping or around. Work causes when you understand what it is that you're doing, there's an energy that comes with it. All right. Oh man. uh, let's go into it. Let's go into it. There's an energy that comes with when you're doing what it is that God has given you, what He's entrusted you with. There's an energy that comes with it. On the other hand, on the flip side, if you're because we can be found in an area or in a place or in a job or whatever where we're not able to work our work the gift that God has given us, and it will take away from us. It'll rip us of our energy. It'll destroy our faith. It'll all of those kind of things. And so that's how you're able to identify if if you're in the right place in life, in work, in relationship, whatever. Because if it's not if it's not creating energy in your life, and if it's taken away from you, if it's taken more than it's given, you're probably not in the right place. Is that pretty simple? Is that pretty simple? You're probably not in the right place. So let's identify. Let's identify. Are we up under the right order? Or are we up under the right structure? Can we deal with the pressure that's been placed on us? Can we deal with it? So what did God? What is it? What is it? What is it? I see you, Romulus. I see you. You coming over there, sir. What did God place in your hands for you to? That should say for you to work with. What did He place in your hands? What did He give you? Part of mine is God has given me the ability to help others. And what do you mean help others? He's given me the ability to help others see in them what they can see in them. You got it. He's given me the ability to help other people see in them what they couldn't see in them, and then develop it to a level to where it's beneficial to them and for them, right? So that's what he's given me. I'm a builder, architect, if you will, and so I'm able to identify what it is that God has given me. And once you're able to identify with it, then you can take off running with it, and not just sitting there wondering every day, what am I here for? What is my purpose? What is my reason? What action am I supposed to take today? Am I just supposed to be here and take orders from other people? And I'm not saying that you're not going to have to be um, uh, up under somebody's authority or rule or whatever, because all of us have bosses in some kind of capacity. But even while you're doing that, are you still focusing on what God placed in your hand? Because whether we want to believe it or not, we're still going to be held accountable for the gift that He put in our hands. Whether we're doing it under somebody else's you know system or not, we're still going to be accountable for that. So I want you to take that with you for today. Now, what did He place in your hands? uh, Now, when He places something in your hand, are you creating your own system to thrive, or are you comfortable with somebody else's? Are you comfortable with someone else's? I'll explain. I'll explain. Give me a second here. My little computer's playing tricks on me this morning, but that's all right. All right. So are you comfortable? Are you good at creating your own system by which you can thrive, or are you comfortable in someone else's system? Because either way, we're some people are gifted at doing things on their own. They're gifted at doing things on their own. They can strive by doing things on their own. They can create their own system. They can create their own money. They can go out and do things without having to be pushed or anything like that. And that's fine. That's great if you're able to do that. If you're able to function like that. Some people are able to just go out there and grind and get it, and they use the gift that God has given them to to make a name for themselves, to make a living for themselves, to be able to leave behind a legacy for their children. And so they're more self sufficient. And the entrepreneurial type of person, and that's fine. And then you have others who can thrive under a system that somebody else has already created. They can get up under the umbrella of that system and thrive, work their way up, move up the ladder, if you will. They have the ability to get within the framework of somebody else's system and look at the structure that's already been in place, and just like that, they're able to thrive under that system. And so, which one are you? Which one are you this morning? How do you accomplish your goal? How do you accomplish your goal? Because there's nothing wrong with either one of them. It's nothing wrong with either one of them. I just want, we're just different people. We're just different people, and we work in different ways, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of us being different from one another, because we have different ways of getting things done. God placed different gifts in our hands. We don't all have the same gifts. We don't all have the same abilities. All have the same strengths, and that's good. So whatever one of you might be good at, I might not be strong in that area. So I can pull from the area that you're good in, and you can do it with me as well. And so that's how it works. That's how life works. That's how the order of God works. But I want you to understand this morning. I want to get this through, that we all have been given something, and we are all required to put that gift to work. No matter how tough it might be, no matter how things might come at us, no matter how, all of that stuff. And yes, it's true, and it's there, and we are aware of it, but we can't not allow we cannot allow the distractions to keep us from moving forward. That cannot, that's not allowed. So, what are you working with? Do you know? Do you know? Because if you don't, I want to help you determine it. I want to help you um, determine what you're working with, so that you don't be going, um, keep going and not know. Because I'm telling you, your gift is going to give you the greatest um, sense of peace on the inside. The thing that you're working with, that God gave you, is going to give you, it's going to create the most peace on the inside. It's going to create awareness. It's going to give you insight. It's going to give you intellect. It's going to give you ability. It's going to increase um, um, your knowledge of certain situations, that thing that you are working with. So if you don't know, you might be using it, and you don't even know what it is that's um, causing that sense of knowledge to come before you. You might just be thinking that you're just that smart, and that's okay. You should think that way about yourself. But God increase our faith and our insight and our abilities as we're working in what He gave us. And so you'll see sometimes people praying, and they're praying like, God, give me this, and God, give me that. I want more of this, and I want more of that. Well, the only way that happens is, the only way that you get more of something is that you have to run out of what you already have. Talk to me this morning. The only way that you can get more of something from God is if you have already tapped out of everything that he's put in your face already. And so it's no sense of saying, God, give me more strength, God, give me more love, give me more joy. You have what it takes for you to strive. But how can He pour more into, if there's nothing been uh, poured out, if it's nothing being released? Y'all get it? So the way that you gain momentum is that you have to give out. You have to give out. You have to give out of yourself, out of your bosom, out of your being. You have to pour it out, and you have to pour it out into other people. And once you start doing that, once you pour out, God pours back in. The more you pour out, the more he continues to fill you up. And that's just a partnership or relationship that he creates between us and him, because we're doing what it is that he requires of us to do. We're doing what he requires of us to do. Now, why does God pour into us? Why does he pour into us? That's a good question. Why does God pour into us? He pours into us because we are his ambassadors here on earth. We are his arms, his legs, his feet, his mouthpiece here on earth. So God pour into us what he wants to say to his people in the earth, right? So that's why he used us in the first place, because we are an extension. We are an extension physically on earth of what God is spiritually in heaven. Y'all gonna make me work this thing this morning, right? We are physically in the earth what God is already established in heaven. So therefore, when God pour into us, we become extensions in the earth of who he is. So that's why we don't have the benefit of saying, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to do things my way, because we don't get the benefit of doing that, because we are simply extensions, or vessels. I like that, Romans. We are vessels of who God already is. That's why he give us the ability to do the work. That's why he hand specific abilities and specific talents to individuals, so that you can use that talent and that ability on his behalf in order to be a blessing to someone else. Now, your blessing, being a blessing to someone else, is directly a result of you being connected to God. Do you understand? Your ability to be a blessing to somebody else is a reflection of the relationship that you have with God. Now, how does God use a person more? If you are obedient to him and his service with what you already have, he shines down a light upon you, because he see you being busy. And we call this the favor of God. The only way you can get the favor of God is by doing, by already, he finds you already working in what he's giving you. And then when he finds you working continuously, he shines down the favor of God upon your life. And then that's how doors be open in other areas. That's how you begin to accomplish things that you're not physically and mentally don't have the capacity to do. But because God's favor is upon you, because you took what he has given you by faith, and you start moving in it, you start walking in it, now he enlarges your capacity. You got it. This is good stuff this morning. He gives you a greater sense, or a bigger arena, or a bigger area to work in. And so sometimes the reason why we're not growing is because we haven't taken what we already have and walked in it. You said, but I don't understand sometimes, Pastor. That's fine. You're in a good place. Just walk in it. But I don't have a full knowledge of what it is that I'm doing. That's fine. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to see everything. You don't have to have all things together and perfect. What's hindering us sometimes is the fact that we're trying to be We're trying to always be in a mind frame of perfection. And if you're doing that, you're hindering yourself. You're hindering yourself by trying to be perfect, by trying to have it all together, by trying to have a nice presentation. Sometimes um, the greatest presentations start off simple. Sometimes the greatest presentations start off simple. You might not have everything that you need, but as you go along, things will be added unto you, and you can add on to your presentation. You can add on to whatever it is that you're doing, but don't let the fact of that we're trying to be perfect when we first start off. Don't let allow that to hinder you from doing it, from not doing it at all. So don't worry about being perfect. All right. Is that helping? Is that helping somebody this morning? Don't worry about it being perfect. Sometimes the edges are going to be raggedy. Sometimes the pages are going to be crinkled. Sometimes you're not going to have a sense of confidence about it, about what you're presenting, but present it anyway. Because if you overthink and if you get too far ahead of yourself, you'll end up not doing it at all, and that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here for. Do I have any overthinkers on here this morning? Do I have any overthinkers? Do I have people that talk themselves out of their own ability? Do you talk yourself out of your own ability by overthinking and by how does confidence come? How do you build confidence? Confidence is built by um, confidence is built when you have victories in life, right? Confidence grows as you win, and so winning doesn't require um, a big stage. Winning only requires conquering what has been placed before you. And so once you learn how to conquer, how to take over, how to control, how to destroy um, the obstacles that's been placed in front of you, you grow in your confidence. And once you start growing in your confidence, God will give you will put more on your plate. You said that almost seems unfair. No, this is what the scripture says. To whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. And so, because you're figuring out the system, because you're figuring out your relationship with God, you understand that the more conquering you do, the more of an extension of his hand you become. So he will use you more because he knows that you are capable of doing what he asks you to do. Right. Yeah. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. Erase that from your mind. Erase that from your thoughts, from your memory. You do not ever have to be perfect. And this saying goes around a lot, and it's very true. Very true. God doesn't call people that are qualified, right? No, he doesn't. He don't call people that are qualified. He qualifies the call. That's how he works. He don't call you because you're qualified. Who's really qualified to be an extension of the hand of God? Like, you tell me. Who's really up to those standards, right? No, he doesn't call you because you're qualified. He qualifies your call. In other words, through your obedience and through your sacrifice to him, he will make you into what it is you need to be based on your willingness to do what he asks, based on your willingness to do what he asks you to do. So you don't have to be perfect, people of God. You only have to be willing. That's a blessing. I want y'all to write that down somewhere and put it in your notes so that you can just meditate on that. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be willing. That's why you'll look sometimes and see people that are less talented, that are less qualified. They don't have all of the skills, but they have the confidence to carry out whatever task it is that God has placed before them, and so He places His favor on them. And when God places favor on anybody, on any of us, it is something that nobody can compete with. So that'll give you the answer to why it seems unfair sometimes that they don't even have it all together. They don't even have, yes, God will use people that are less talented than you are to get things done simply because they're obedient, simply because they're not afraid to do what they feel in their spirit, in their heart to do. They're not afraid to fail. They're not afraid to make a fool out of themselves. They're not afraid to look goofy and look stupid in front of other people simply because because they don't have the same pedigree as everybody else. They don't have the same background as everybody else, but they have a willingness to do it anyway. And so therefore, because God see that in them, He will put His favor on them, and then they will run circles around the people that thought that they were nothing. Can I talk to you this morning? Can I talk to you this morning? That's how it happens. That's how you see people as, man, and you're in awe and you're blown away by their presence and by their character and their charismatic and all of that, charismatic and all that stuff. Where does that come from? It comes from a place of willingness. They didn't always have that. They didn't always have that confidence. They didn't always have that swag. They didn't always have that favor on their life, but they found themselves in a place where they knew that God could be glorified. And so they took advantage of the situation. And when they took advantage of the situation, God dawned the light upon them and blessed them with His favor. And now it's nothing you can tell them that'll make them doubt that God's hand is on them. You got it? Y'all see how it works? I just want y'all to see how it works. I want y'all to see and know how it works so that you are not afraid to do what it is that you feel pushed into doing. Because there's going to be an attraction. All right. So let me explain this. There's going to be an attraction that take your time. Take your time. When God placed something in your hand, when He placed something in your hand, when He placed the ability to work in your hands, right? When He placed it in your hands, he take it from His hand and place it in your hand and place it in our hand. And then He pulls His hand back. All right. But what you didn't see throughout that whole entire transaction, what you didn't see is that he placed a magnet in your hand so that when you're moving in the direction that you should be moving in, which is called faith, it's going to be attracted to what God has put in your hand. And so as you're come on, help me explain this. As you're moving forward, you're not moving forward without something. But when you're in the right place, what the gift that God placed in your hand begins to pull on the favor that's placed in His hand. And as you're moving forward, it's pulling Him to where you're going. So you can't go anywhere and He's not with you. Y'all talk to me now. If y'all feeling this thing, y'all got to talk to me. If you move in a direction that's because there's going to be an attraction there. You're going to be attracted to where you're going. There's going to be a sense of urgency for you to move and for you to go quick and for you to go in this direction. It might not feel good to your physical body, and it might not feel good to the nature of things. But if you go in the direction, you're going to be God is going to be with you. He's going to be with you, and so you're going to be pulling him in the same direction that you're going. That's called favor. That's called favor. That attraction, that connection that you have, and the only way you can get that connection, the only way you can get it is through obedience. It's through obedience. Don't be, because faith sometimes will put you in a position to where you feel absolutely foolish. Faith will put you in a position where you just feel downright foolish. You start thinking in your head, man, these people are not going to understand what I'm talking about. They're not going to understand me. They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to know. Whoever is supposed to meet you where you are, they're going to understand. They are going to absolutely understand where you're coming from. It's not going to take you a lot of time to explain yourself. They're going to understand. And if you're in the place to where, I think I said this last week, if you're in the place where you're having to take too long for somebody to understand your vision, your thoughts, what you're displaying, that's not it. That's not the place. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going, because when you get to the right place, there's going to be a settling in your spirit, in your mind, in your body. There's going to be a settling. What am I talking about? A settling. There's going to be a peace that comes about you, right? Because one thing about faith and walking in faith, you'll know when you have accomplished what you're supposed to be accomplishing, because there is a peace that comes with accomplishment. There is a peace that comes with walking in obedience to God. That's how you'll know, because of the peace that comes along with it. The first is going to be a fight. Okay. First, there's going to be a fight. The first step in faith, God is going to put you in a position to where you have to fight. Now, I'm not talking about physically fighting. I'm talking there's going to be a battle in your mind that comes when God puts you in a position of faith. There's going to come a battle first in your mind. What is that battle? That battle is going to be between your mind and your spirit. Your mind is going to say one thing, your spirit is going to say another thing. Your mind is connected to the earth, your spirit is connected to God. And so there is a war between the mind and the spirit constantly. There is a division that happens between the mind and the spirit constantly on a daily basis. And so faith requires us to move beyond what the mind thinks, and faith requires us to connect to God's spirit. And once God's spirit, we're connected to his spirit, is going to override what we naturally think, because your mind thinks naturally. It can see things to a certain extent. It can see things at a certain level. It can see things to a certain distance. But the spirit of God goes ahead, and it can see the things in the future. It can see the things that are coming. It can see stuff that is near to you. And so that's why God, it tries to get us to connect to him and to his spirit, because his spirit will override our natural thoughts. Y'all tell me if it's good or not. Our faith, that's why faith is so important, because our faith will put us into a position where we would naturally do something, but our faith will put us into a position where God will override and suspend certain natural forces. He'll suspend it. Your faith suspends that, and then you start walking into what you hear some would call the supernatural. And the supernatural is simple. It's not. It's just God giving us the ability to, and God possessing us, a gift within us to do things beyond what is considered normal. Hallelujah. Are you normal this morning, or do you like when God use you to do things in the supernatural? He give you the ability to go beyond the norm and to think outside the box, and that's where that comes from, because he's placing you in your thoughts in a whole different arena, a whole different realm, and you wonder why you think the thoughts that you think. It's not it's it's by design. It's by design. It's because you're crossing over from the normal, from the natural. Faith will take you into the supernatural and cause you to see things that other people don't see, and that's how you get the advantage. That's how you get the advantage. Faith will give you the advantage over other people, over other things, over other projects. God will give you all of the insight, and make you look like you're just the smartest person that ever existed. Well, we understand that that's not us. We understand that that comes through our obedience, and because we keep continue to obey, He continues to build us up. He continues to increase our knowledge and our wisdom about situations. And so once you have conquered the little bitty stuff, he started giving you bigger stuff. And once you have a track record of conquering, and once you have a track record that you are consistent in your faith, and you always walk by faith and not by sight, God just keep dumping stuff on you. He just keep dumping stuff on you, and um, that's why you'll see some people do a lot in life, and then some people just do the minimum, what they're required to do, because um, sometimes they just don't like the fight that comes with walking by faith. It's a fight. I'll be lying to you if I tell you that a fight don't come with you walking by faith. It does. A fight every time, every single time, a fight is going to come with it. But on the other side, on the flip side, after you go through the battle, the rewards are great. The rewards are great. So don't be afraid, because you're going to have to fight. Nah, be bold, be a warrior. Let the enemy know that you are here for the fight. You were made for the fight. You are equipped for the fight, because you want what's after the fight. So go on ahead and bring it, because I know that it's coming. I'm already prepped for it. I'm already built up myself for it. I'm already aware that it's going to happen. So let's get it on. See, and so you'll stop allowing the fight to come to you, and you'll start taking yourself into the fight, right? Don't be overtaken and surprised when when you're tempted, or you're tested beyond your capacity. Don't be surprised, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen every single time, because anything worth having, go and finish it, is worth fighting for. Yeah. And let me tell you this. So you'll know, God God orchestrates the fight as well. Yeah, he does. We always talk about, oh, the enemy did. No, he used that enemy to get us in certain places, in certain positions, but he orchestrates the fight. Yeah, he promotes the fight because he knows that we have within us to win the battle, to conquer the test. So he orchestrates the fight. God loves to see us fight because he knows that we're fighting on his behalf. Why? You remember? Because we're extensions, we're his extensions in the earth. Hey, you don't think God like to see you fight? Absolutely. Why you think David was allowed to do it so much? Because David knew after a while and understood that he was God's arms and legs, hand, feet, mouthpiece in the earth. So he embodied the fight nature. You have to embody the fighting nature, and not always be thinking stuff is going to be easy, it's going to come easy because you're a nice person. Let me help you, nice person. I'm gonna own it this morning. Let me help you, Mr. and Miss Nice person. Your enemy does not care because you're nice to everybody. Okay, first of all, that's a good quality to have, and God bless you for having it. And I know that you pride yourself on being nice to everybody, as you should. But when I'm talking about when we're walking by faith, when we're doing stuff that's gonna cause generational curses to be broken, that's going to cause people to walk in victory, continue victory, that's going to cause conditions to change. When you're doing stuff like that, it doesn't matter if you're nice or not. So you better learn today how to embody the spirit of a fighter. You cannot always be so nice all the time. Sometimes there's going to rise up in you the spirit of a warrior, and you're just going to have to cut things off at the head like David did so that they don't keep coming back. You're going to have to learn how to nip things in the bud. You're going to have to learn how to be a little bit more aggressive and know how to tell people, especially if you are in a leadership position, you can't be so passive all the time. Sometimes you got to be aggressive, because why? You are walking by faith. Why? Because you don't want to stay in the same place that you were in 5 years ago. That's going to take some guts. That's going to take some charisma. That's going to take some confidence. That's going to take you being strong, and you being strong-minded, and you having a fighter's nature. That's going to take some embodying of the warrior spirit. Guess what? Warriors don't care how many people like them. Do we have to get out of that. Well, if I do this, they're not gonna like me. Well, they probably don't like you because you're not doing it. No. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought that they might be saying, I like her, I like him, but I wish they would just take more authority. I wish they would just take more control of the situation. I wish, because I see it in them. I know they got it. I know they can do it, but they just a little bit too passive. And so being passive, you're going to always get walked over. You're going to always get pushed around. You're going to always get beat up. You're going to always come away from the war without any spoils. Why? Because you are too passive. You have to learn how to take on the full armor of God and start dictating your victories. Yeah, and stop waiting until stuff builds all the way up, and then you just explode. Let me tell you something about exploding. Yeah, you're fighting now, but you're wild with it. You're not in control. You don't have your composure. You're not poised with it. You just swing in any kind of way. No, you have to be able to determine when you're going to hit, how hard you're going to hit. You got it. Yeah. Don't just be swinging and swinging in the air, and you keep missing and keep missing. No, decide and determine when you're going to hit, because that's how you are the most effective. When you calling the shots, when you making the decision on your own accord. You understand what I'm saying? You're not allowing somebody to dictate the fight to you, but you're dictating the fight to them, and you got them in the corner. Excuse me, and you got them in the corner, and you got them on the ropes, and you punching where you please, and you hitting where you want to hit, and you landing the targets how you want to land the target. Control it. You got to control it. Nobody is going to come and place that in your hands. That's something that you got to learn how to work your way up in. You work your way up in faith. You don't just become victorious overnight. You don't just become a strong giant overnight. You don't just become a champion overnight, but you have to learn how to pick and choose your fights and your battles. And once you pick and choose your fights and your battles, handle your business, knock it on out, and keep on moving. On to the next battle. I'm glad you. Hey, Max said, "Come on, Floyd Mayweather." Yeah, y'all see Floyd Mayweather? He was 50-0, right? But he didn't fight the same 50 people. He had he had a couple rematches, and you're going to have some rematches, but all of your battles are not going to be rematches. You shouldn't be fighting the same person every day. You're going to have different opponents as you grow, as you move, as you hustle in life. You're going to have different opponents. You're going to have to have to figure your opponents out. Some of them are going to have different approaches. You're going to have to know how they move around, how they punch. Do they uppercut? Do they throw do they throw hooks or whatever? Do they do body shots? You're going to have to know that about your opponent. You are going to have to study your opponent just like your opponent study you. This is good. This is good stuff this morning. Study your opponent. It's vital to your survival. It's vital to your existence. Study your opponent. Know what they know. Know what they know about you. Make them guess. Keep them guessing. Keep them guessing about you. Don't let them, don't let them know everything about you. Don't let them be able to read your moves and counter your attack. Don't let them do that. Always keep them thinking. Always keep them on their toes. Always, don't allow people to get comfortable in your presence. Keep them guessing. Keep them thinking. Keep them moving. Keep them studying. Y'all got it? All right. So we're going to ask you a question as I get ready to close out this session. What did God place in your hands for you to work with? Do you know? Did he give you the strong mind? Did he give you discernment? Did he give you the ability to negotiate? Or as one of Talia's friends say, finesse your way out of things or through things? What is it that he gave you to work with? And once you identify that, once you identify what it is that he gave you to work with, then you'll start being more victorious. Your victories, listen to this. Once you start working and walking by faith, your victories will be more than your losses. Your victories will be greater than your losses. I'm gonna leave you with that. Your victories will be greater than your losses when you learn how to walk by faith effectively. Now there's walking by faith, and then there's walking by faith effectively. You got to know how to be effective when you're walking by faith, and not just doing something just to be doing it. Okay, there's an effective way to walk by faith. There's a strategic way to walk by faith, to where your losses will be minimal, but your wins will be great. Your wins will be great. All right. So I'm praying that you'll study yourself. Study yourself. Find out what it is. What makes me move? What makes me get into my groove? What gives me momentum? What makes me mad? What makes me angry? How do people get under my skin? What am I doing that I'm exposing in such a way that's allowing my opponent or my enemy to get the best of me? You got to study yourself. You got to study your opponent, and you have to study yourself. You got to know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you need to build up, what you need to get out, remove what's working, what's not working. You got to know all of that about yourself, not just about your enemy, because your enemy is going to study you. And then when you see them making moves at you, you know why they're making that move, because they know that that's a weakness. You know that that's a weakness, so work on it. Work on it. Your opponent is going to attack your weaknesses, not so much your strengths. Why would they attack what you're strong at? And they know you're gonna bust them upside the head with that. Then they're not gonna attack so much what you're strong at, but they're gonna attack the areas that you're weak in. And so if I know that we're weak in a certain area, then we need to start working on that and start building up our strength in that area, start building up our confidence in that area, so that when the fight comes to us, we won't shy away from it. We'll know how to move. We'll know how to duck. We'll know how to counter. Um, we'll know how to counter that their moves. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. So you got it. You got it. You got it. What you working with? What you working with? What you working with? Ask yourself as we leave the broadcast today, get off of here and ask yourself, what am I working with? Do I know? If you already know, fine, build on it. Well, make it better, make it greater. If you already know, make it better. If you don't, ask yourself, what am I working with? I'll say, God, what is it that I'm working with? I want to know. I want to know. All right. If you don't know, um, then God will show you. He will tell you. All right. So we're praying with you, and we're praying for you. God bless you. Listen, I'm putting on the screen um, ways that you can give, that you can be a blessing. Listen, you can always be a blessing by praying for us and keeping us lifted up. First Lady uh, sends her warm wishes and blessings to you as well. And so you can always be a blessing by going to our Cash App at G Family 2017. You can also use the Venmo app, A Resilient Life, as well as PayPal, After God's Own Heart 74 at gmail.com. Listen, we're praying for you. Let's pray. Father, we thank you this morning. Thank you for the gift that you have given us and placed down on the inside of us. Thank you for giving us a cheerful, giving heart. Thank you for blessing our mind. Thank you for increasing our capacity. Thank you, God, this morning that you have given us the ability to work, to sort through things, to accomplish things, and that our life is better because we are walking and moving in faith and not in fear. We thank you that there's no lack in our life. We thank you that there's structure in our life, that we are disciplined and obedient in our faith every day. As you increase our favor, we want to make sure that we stay obedient and remain connected to your spirit. And we just thank you and bless you for these your people that are on this broadcast. We thank you for their obedience. We thank you for their servitude. We thank you for their graciousness. And I pray that you bless their families, their jobs, their homes, their children. We're praying for increase all the way around in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. We love you. And we'll see you Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. All right. God bless you. Y'all stay focused. Stay focused.